On my show now, I've got my next guest, and my next guest has something in common with me. We are both radio personalities, and today I want to get on the radio show. Darren Yates, he's more familiar known as one half of Ginger and Nuts. Welcome to the Dennison Presents show, Darren. Welcome.
Hello to you. I was going to say, it's so nerve-wracking being on the other side.
That's
because you're there. It's like, oh my golly gosh.
Yes, I bet it feels weird you being on the other end.
It does. It really does. Because you're like, I'm listening to this intro, my heart's pounding. It really is.
Yes, you'll be fine, I promise you.
Oh, yes.
So I'm glad to get you on. And today's topic is one issue that is perhaps more important than ever to talk about. So I'm going to tell a listener we are talking about mental health, in particular men's mental health, because it's still not getting the awareness that it should do. So from the top, I know people know you from the radio as one half of Ginger and Nuts, but could you just tell my listeners a little bit about yourself and your experiences with mental health?
Oh, blimey, it's like an episode of Blind Date, isn't it? tell us your name and where you come from. Well, I'm from the West Midlands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest, I've dabbled with radio for about 25 years now, in and out. All over the place, done FM and online radio and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I've presented on TV with Alan Titmarsh for BBC Children in Need, and I worked for West Midlands Police for about 25 years as well, doing all their PR and marketing. So I've always been involved in the media. I've always, since I left school, I had a passion for radio and a fascination for it. So that's really me. I mean, I am radio mad.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
So you're a radio fanatic. So you're born to do this job. You really, really are.
Yeah, I've always wanted to. I suppose I always wanted to entertain.
Yeah.
And when I was at school, I used to do impressions. And I not saying I was ever bullied at school.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever was, or not that I can remember. But I always used to do impressions to get away from the kind of, well, I wouldn't say gangs, but like, I want to say top dogs, but like the main bully that was in the school at the time. Mm-hmm. So to get on their side, I used to do impressions, and I used to make them laugh, and I suppose it came from that, really, entertaining people. Yeah. But yeah, I've always had the ability to kind of make somebody laugh or smile, or it's just to entertain.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's a bit like you, Danny.
Yeah, sure. And so you're a natural. You're a natural.
I wouldn't say a natural. Probably natural colour hair at the moment, but but you're probably more of a natural than me.
Yeah, well, you've got more hair than me though, so.
Yeah, there you go.
You got one up on me there. Do you find radio presenting a good form of escapism, from what's happening in this world right now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I love it, and when I've done a show, I'm always I do a show and I'm on a high. It's like when you do, I suppose, singers, you yourself, if you've been out performing, you come out, you end on a high. And then when you get home, it's kind of a massive drop, and that's like radio for me. Mm-hmm. I'm always thinking, I can't wait for the next show, and I put me all into it. Some days, I don't really want to do it. I can't even get out of bed some days due to, I've got pain and all sorts. But doing radio is an escapism. Yeah. It gets you. You kind of go into a different world. I love it. Mm-hmm.
So I can relate. And so you're saying you have good days and bad days?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, most of the time, the days are good. But I mean, I suffer with chronic anxiety and also depression. And I suppose I've always, like I said, I've always covered it up. So if somebody at work, the police, had said something to me, I would kind of laugh it off, but then when I get home, it would go over in my mind, and even if I wasn't happy with a comment that somebody made, I would pretend that actually it didn't bother me when actually it did. So that's that really in terms of, I kind of I let things go, and I used to wear like I remember wearing t-shirts at work under my shirt, and even on hot days, people used to say, "Blimey, have you got a t-shirt on?" And I used to say, "Oh yeah, it was cold this morning when I left."
Yes.
But actually, that was to hide the sweat.
Yeah.
Because I used to if I used to panic, I used to sweat, and then I used to think, "Oh no." And I remember I was in a training course once, a first aid training course, and I was like kind of sweating, and I went to the toilet and I looked, I thought, and I went home ill. I said I got a headache or something, just because I'd seen I just was in like panic. It was just awful. So yeah, it affects me in different ways, but I can snap at people. I've thrown things in anger. I mean, the amount of phones I've destroyed and laptops, and it just something comes over you. It's as though I don't know what it is, but it makes me sound like I'm a psychopath. I'm not a psychopath, but somebody could just say something, and I could just blow. It's like that.
Like a trigger mechanism,
It's a trigger.
Yeah.
And whether it's from something from my early days or something that's happened to me or whatever, but there's a trigger there, and it just just makes me blow, really.
I think what people need to take into consideration is, like, say if you're having a not so good day and you feel that way, that emotion is not directed to that person in particular. It's just part of what you're having to deal with at that time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're lucky, Danny, because you asked me if I wanted to do this, and I said yes to you. And sometimes I'll say yes to people, or oh yeah, we must meet, and I look forward to that. And then come the time, I'll go, oh no, actually, I'm out at the moment, or I can't do it, and I'll make an excuse not to, usually to see somebody, but over the phone it's not so bad. But that's another thing. I let people down, and it's never intentional. It's just that I can't. I don't know what it is. I just can't deal with it. I mean, I see a psychotherapist and I see a psychiatrist as well, and then they do help, but.
I think you're doing incredibly well, even talking about it. When they say half a problem shared, there's a phrase, once you kind of told someone about problem, it's half the problem solved, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And yes, I can understand. Being in the spotlight, people always want your song played, or they want this or want that. But never be disappointed with yourself. If you have to be honest with the person, let's say if you can't make that arrangement, they'll respect you in the long run. There's no harm in saying you can't if you don't feel up to it. There's no harm in being honest and saying, look, I can't make that appointment or arrangement.
And that's right. It's just that some people still don't understand mental health, and it's those people that we need to try and crack. And a lot of old people, no disrespect, some of them do, but a lot of old people, that they all pull yourself together, or well, hang on, you can't just pull yourself together. That's like saying to somebody, who's got a headache, who's got a migraine, or you've got a headache, you can't just pull yourself together. It's impossible.
Sure.
It really is.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, go back to the radio. Do you or have you done hospital radio, and is it something that you would consider doing?
I've never done hospital radio. I think I was approached by somebody not so long back, actually. I can't remember what station it was. But I was approached, and I probably would, actually, because because that's volunteering and that's getting out there. And the thing about radio that I love, and people say, oh, blimey, you know, when you do your show, you're really upbeat and everything else. And I always say I'm not like that in real life. I'm actually quite shy. This is like a character. And the thing is, with radio, it's just you. It's just you in a room. And although I bounce off Ginge, that's because she knows my life inside out, because obviously she's my wife, and that's why I can, you know, I live with her, and that's how I can do it. If it was somebody else, I'd probably find it really, really difficult.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm just in a room on my own. I mean, I'm not even in the same room as Ginge. She's like in a completely different room. So yeah, so that's what I like about radio.
Yeah.
It's the fact that, you know, you're on your own. But a hospital radio, providing there was nobody else in the room, like producers and things, I probably would be all right.
Yeah, I think you do well. It's you know, because your show is all about having fun and banter, and did you say laughter is the best form of medicine?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is we can be a bit risky sometimes.
That's that's part and parcel of your act, isn't it, Ginger? And that's, you know.
Yeah, that's yeah. Although the nuts, it wasn't meant to be rude. It was just it's just because Ginger has ginger hair, and I think she said, "Oh, we can be called Ginger and Nuts because you're nuts." And I thought, well, actually, you're taking the mickey here. Just because I've got mental health doesn't mean I'm nuts. But no, we have a laugh. Yeah. It's great. Yeah. It really is.
So we'll come on to your show at the end. A couple more to go, and in brief, what would you tell someone going through a hard point in their life?
Well, the most important thing is to talk to somebody, and talking really does help. I mean, like I say, I talk to a psychotherapist now, but when my psychiatrist had told me it would be good to talk to a psychotherapist, I thought just talking to somebody, it's going to be like, oh, you know, they're going to know everything, including your inside leg and all that kind of stuff. But actually, they've got real great way, and they really do listen, because they'll bring things up that even you forgot that you've said. So talking to somebody, whether it's somebody in a professional capacity or a friend, anybody, just talk to somebody. Don't try and cope on your own if you're struggling, because that's probably the worst thing you can do. I mean, I've been at that jumping off point. I've been where actually, you know, if I have a row now, I will don't want to scare your listeners, but I would leave the house, go in my car, and on my mind, Danny, is I want to kill myself. That is the only thing that goes. And people say, oh yeah, but if you kill yourself, it's quite selfish. Well, at the time, you don't think about it. You don't think about anybody except that's all I want to do. So I've learnt now that Ginger will always phone me, and eventually I'll answer the phone, and everything's all right. And I always know now that after a few weeks, I'll be well again, and it'll be okay. But yeah, talking is really key. And I don't tell many people that. Yeah. I don't. You know, that's something I don't tell many people, because people automatically think, blimey, you know, it's going to try and commit suicide. But I'm just saying that I've been there and stuff. But talking, that is the key, and getting help.
Sure, and thank you very much for sharing that. Full of admiration for you. Bob Hoskins said it's good to talk anyway, didn't he?
Yeah, it's good to talk.
Cool. And if it's any consolation, just want to say that your show is followed by, well, hundreds of people, and you know, just remember that, and that you're in control. You're the boss, you know, and just remember that. If it's any consolation from someone who experiences mental health, from me to you, just remember.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Right, and I just want to end up on a positive note. What song brightens up your day?
Oh God, there are so many. See, I like really cheesy music. I really do. I like anything cheesy. See, I like Wham, Freedom.
Yeah.
I like I Am What I Am. I like that one. But yeah, I like. Yeah, I mean, like I say, there are so many songs. Oh, yeah.
Like the disco
Um,
classics and pop music
the
and
disc,
yeah,
yeah, the
yeah,
80s.
sure.
I love the
Yeah,
80s. I love the 60s
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Oh, fair play.
I love all sorts of music.
Yeah,
There are some 70s music that just doesn't do it for me,
yeah,
but certainly the 60s, the 80s, some of the
yeah,
90s, and see, in our day, Danny, we would go. I could tell you who was in the charts.
hmm
Now I wouldn't have a clue. I couldn't tell you.
yeah,
But
sure,
but in the 80s, I could tell you everybody that was in the charts.
cool,
But yeah, I loved the 80s. So
cool. Well,
yeah, Katrina and the
yeah,
Waves, Walking on Sunshine. I like that one as
cool,
well.
cool. Right then, should we go with that one just to end the show on a high? Walking on
Oh, are you going to
sunshine.
play it? Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to end the show on a high note.
Yeah, I know.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all your experiences of mental health, and hopefully it will inspire other people, who may be going through the same, boat as you, kind of path journey.
That's it. And if ever they want to talk to me or whatever, they can get me on Facebook at Cheeky Daz.
Yeah.
That's my personal one, so I'd have to add you as a friend.
hmm
But more than happy to talk to people if they're going through difficult times.
Sure. And just to tell them, you do the Ginger and Nuts show. People can find you on Facebook, Ginger and Nuts show, and they can find out more information about what you do.
Brilliant. That's
Great
wonderful.
stuff. That wraps up a great interview. Thank you, Darren Yates, one half of Ginger and Nuts, talking about today's topic, mental health, in particularly men's mental health. It's a pleasure having you on.
Brilliant. Thank you. Pleasure being asked.
Great stuff.